Hello?
Matt?
Hi, Donnie.
Hi, Donnie. Yeah, the late Donnie Walsh.
Good day, sir. How did you decide that you wanted to do the blues? Like, what was the deciding factor?
I heard a Jimmy Reed record at my girlfriend's birthday party many years before that. Like maybe 4 years before that. That was it for me, for music.
And it just blew your mind, eh?
Oh yeah, it was like I can't really explain it as much anymore, but like I just went nuts.
It was like a eureka moment.
Yeah, and then of course I started finding all the other blues artists, you know. But it was Jimmy Reed.
And you guys are named after Sonny Boy Williamson reference, right?
Yeah, it's a song that he wrote
Right.
and recorded.
Absolutely, yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I love his harmonica playing; it's so good.
It's unreal to me.
Oh man, yeah. When I discovered, it's weird discovering Sonny Boy because there's the other one too, the first one.
Yeah.
And so if you know the story, like there was no internet or whatever, so he stole his name, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
so it was very confusing at the beginning for me, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, and I was reading that you guys are basically known as the band who recorded the first independent album in Canada.
Apparently.
Which is Bootleg 71, right?
Yeah, bootleg. Yeah, 1971. Yeah.
And how did you decide that you were just gonna, like, what was the deciding factor that made you decide that you were gonna just do it yourself?
Well, the fellow who was doing my publicist at the time, Richard Flohill, he said there was a little wee recording studio and we should go in and record some songs. So we did, and it was it was like an underground parking garage, like under Rochdale College, and it was like just a little storage room which had been turned into a studio. So we went in and we recorded 27 songs.
Wow.
On mono. So it sounded pretty good. So somebody decided we should get another mixing board and make it into stereo and do it again. I think when we did it again, we did like maybe 17 songs, maybe the next weekend or something, and then just put it out as an album.
And why do you think less bands did that at the time? Like, was it the price of recording, or was it was harder to do, I guess, compared to today's technology? Or
yeah, I think maybe the attitude back then might have been that there's bands and there's record companies, and there's sort of no in between.
Right.
But there was, and just some people didn't realize that you could make your own record, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, and like that's kind of the way the industry is now in a lot of ways. I mean, you have your Justin Biebers and stuff that are produced, but most of the real good bands kind of just go in and do it and go, in a day or two, right?
Yeah.
So what, like, compared to today, was it harder, making a record back then and putting it together yourself as opposed to today, like?
I would say it was harder because you had to do most of the stuff yourself.
Yeah, and you guys did all your own flyering and all that stuff, right? Like you used to just do everything yourselves, basically.
Well, we took it down to Sam the Record Band.
Right.
On Yonge Street in Toronto.
And how did that impact you guys?
Well, I talked to Sam. He was there, and I said, I just made a new record. Can you sell it? Would you sell it in your store? And he said, yeah, bring it down. I'll put it in the window. So that was pretty exciting. So sure enough, we brought it down, and he put it in the window. And then RCA picked it up later.
And so did the Sam the Record Man directly contribute to RCA picking it up? Like, did it give it more of a
well, he probably
respect?
Not directly, but indirectly, I'm sure. Because it started selling it right at Sam's record store, you know. So I would say indirectly, he was involved.
That's pretty cool. how did you meet the Blues Brothers? I think you were friends with Dan Aykroyd, right?
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd was in the theater in Toronto.
Right.
And theater, of course, gets out at 11 o'clock, and the bars get out in those days at 2 o'clock. So all the theater guys would come out and see Downtown play. And it was pretty cool. So when he just decided to do the Blues Brothers thing, he had the Downchild records, and of course they knew the songs, him and Belushi. So they did a couple of Downchild songs.
And how did that impact the band? Like, in I guess in record sales, in crowd, and with the, did you get more respect because of it, or?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one of the neat things was when they did our song, one of our songs on their album, which was a record at the time.
Briefcase Full of Blues, right?
Yeah, their first one. And he said, "Here's a song by Downtown Blues Band on the record," and then they played the song. So, that's pretty cool. It's hard to buy that.
Yeah, that's a huge shout out. I think that record sold huge too, right?
Oh yeah, I think it did at least 30 million right off the hop. Yeah.
So, and as far as like it kind of, it took you to that next level, would you say? Like you guys?
I would say, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It gave you that kind of validation and push.
Yeah, and confidence, like I wrote Almost, and my brother wrote Shotgun Blues, the words, and here's somebody that thought it was a good enough song that they'd like to record it, So that's a nice buzz.
Oh yeah, totally. No, and especially it worked out well. I mean, the Blues Brothers are one of the most seminal acts of that time, for television and movies.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you deal with? I mean, I know that there's been about 60 plus members in the band, right?
80 plus.
80 plus. How do you deal with that? Like, how is it hard for you to go through that many musicians, or like, I mean?
Well, this mostly took place a long time ago.
Right.
Like I've had the same band for maybe
10 years or so, right?
Oh, more than that.
Yeah.
Closer to 20.
Jeez.
All the same guys. But in the beginning, we'd go out on tour, and it was rough and tough, and winter time, and out west, and lots of different factors, And some guys just couldn't take it anymore. They'd get home and they'd quit the band. And then, of course, there was others who didn't cut it, if you like, and I had to fire them. Firing is a drag.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm in a band too, so I know. I mean, it's hard to
it's
hard to keep guys, especially when you're just starting out and you're not making much money. It's like, why are we doing all this work and we're not getting paid anything?
Yeah.
And you guys were the house band at Grossman's for a couple of years too, right?
Yeah, that's where we started out, at Grossman's.
Cool. Yeah, that place is a landmark in this city.
Oh yeah.
Are you watching any bands that are coming out now, like from Canada? Are there any, newer bands that you're listening to at all?
Not too much the newer bands, but there is a band that is getting really good. Is Joe Murphy from Halifax.
Right.
Yeah, Joe Murphy from Halifax. He just gave me his CD recently. He's a friend of mine for a long time, but he has a house gig in Halifax at a bar there. And I think he plays like every Saturday. And he's been doing it for a long, long time. And he comes down and plays. He goes out and plays festivals here and there, with his band and sometimes with another band. But he's great.
And he's a blues act, I guess, or?
Yeah, he plays blues and Cajun music,
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory of playing in Toronto? The absolute favorite thing that you ever remember happening during a show or anything like that?
Jesus, give me a sec here.
40 years of rockin' going through your brain right now.
I think one of the neatest things that I remember is meeting and getting to be friends with James Cotton.
Wow. That's very cool. Did you jam with him a lot, or?
Well, I played with him lots. Yeah, he's been on a couple of records, and yeah.
Very cool. And he was like one of your heroes, obviously.
Oh yeah, he's great. Yeah, and he's just a fantastic harmonica player. Over the top.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot of his stuff as well.
Yeah.
Things he did with others.
Yeah.
Very good. What can people expect from the band on the current tour?
We're playing some of the songs off our new album, of course, and quite a few of the songs off our new album. And it's rocking. Have a good time. Good time night.
And where's your favorite place to play?
The next place.
The next place?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite band that you ever opened for?
Maybe Cotton. James Cotton, maybe. This band was killer.
Well, they'd have to be, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Top of the line.
Yeah. They know all the stuff.
Do you have any advice for younger musicians who are trying to make it out there right now?